for the technical glitch we had today. It was due to the fact that we had a major challenge with our technical team, and we had to redo this video in order to show the live stream that we are on now on live. We did not tap the go live button and we had a major challenge. Some calls were also coming and it disrupted the presentation. But as much as possible, without much waste of time, let's go straight to number 1. It says, water flea, wood lice, and barnacle belongs to the group A, Insecta, Chilopoda, Crustacea, Arachnida. The correct answer is Arachnida because Arachnida and water flea and wood lice are organisms that have 4 pairs of legs. And these 4 pair of legs and 2 body parts that is made of the head and the abdomen makes up what is called the characteristic features of Arachnida. So the correct answer there is Arachnida. Insecta have 3 pairs of legs. Chilopoda have 1 pair of leg per body segment. That is where the centipede falls into. Crustaceans have 4 pairs of legs per body segment. That is where you have the prawns, and their body parts is made of head fused with thorax called cephalothorax and abdomen. But the correct answer in this case is Arachnid that have 8 pairs of legs. That is where the water flea and the wood lice also falls into. Number 2, which of the following organism does not exist as a single free living cell? The correct answer, of course, is Volvox. Volvox is a colony because as a colony, Amoeba, Chlamydomonas, and Paramecium, they are all organisms that exist as single organisms. Other examples of colony are Pandorina and Endorina and Urodina. So that's why the answer is Volvox. Number 3, an association between the root nodules of a leguminous plant and Rhizobium species, which of course is found in the nitrogen cycle, is A, parasitism, B, symbiosis, C, commensalism, D, mycorrhiza. The correct answer in this case is symbiosis because the leguminous plant provides food protection to the Rhizobium bacterium, while the Rhizobium bacterium gets protection from the leguminous plant. So the answer is symbiosis, another example of mutualism. So this is an association that is beneficial. Parasitism is not part of it because one suffers harm. The answer is not C, commensalism, because only one benefits, the other one is not affected, while the other one is D, mycorrhiza. Number 4, which of the following group is the most advanced? You have Talophyta, Pteridophyta, Gymnospermy, and Bryophyta. In their order of classification of kingdom Plantae, you have Talophyta, Bryophyta, Pteridophyta, and Spermatophyta in that order. Now, Spermatophyta is what is now divided into Gymnospermy and Angiospermy. Then the Angiospermy is divided into Dicotyledonae and Monocotyledonae. Now, the correct answer in this case, definitely if you look at the list from Talophyta, Pteridophyta, Gymnospermy, the most advanced among option A, B, C is Gymnospermy. If you also compare it with option D, Gymnospermy is still the most advanced. So the answer is option C, Gymnosperm, because Gymnosperms, your examples are the conifers and the whistling pines. They call them the flowerless plants. These ones that produce their seeds in boxes, right? So they are the ones that are called the Gymnosperm. That is the correct answer to number 4. Number 5, the mode of feeding in amoeba and hydra is A, autotrophic, B, heterotrophic, C, symbiotic, D, holophytic. The correct answer in this case is definitely heterotrophic because hydra uses pseudopodia to capture its prey, while amoeba uses pseudopodia to capture its prey. Hydra uses tentacle to capture its prey, bringing the prey to the mouth in hydra, while amoeba uses the pseudopodia to capture its prey and then they digest it inside the food vacuole. So in that case, it's a form of heterotrophic nutrition, which specifically is holozoic. So that is why B is the answer. It's not autotrophic because autotrophic organisms make their own food, which is common in plants. It's not symbiotic because it's a mutualistic relationship. In this case, the amoeba and hydra are just capturing their prey. There's nothing mutualistic there to the prey. The prey is dying. It's not holophytic because holophytic is also autotrophic mode of nutrition common in plants where they make their own food. And it's common mostly in green plants. That's why the answer to number 5 is option B, heterotrophic, which can also be called holozoic. Number 6, viviparity occurs mainly in A, aves, B, amphibians, C, mammals, D, reptiles. The truth about it is that viviparity occurs mostly in mammals, ability for mammals to give birth to their young ones alive. So when organisms give birth to their young ones alive, it's called viviparity. Oviparity is animals that lay eggs. If you look at the options A, B, and D, where you have aves, amphibian, and reptiles, those ones are all. Oviparity is when animals lay eggs, while viviparity is when animals give birth to their young ones alive. Correct. Then number 7, we have an interesting diagram which I'm going to zoom up here. They say use the diagram below to answer questions 7 and 8. If you look at the diagram closely, it is the heart-shaped structure, all right, of a fern plant. And this heart-shaped structure is called the prothallus of a fern. Number 1 there on top is known as the female sex gamete or egg cell. Number 2 is called the male sex gamete or sperm cell, while number 3 are called the rhizoids. That number 1 there, the female sex gamete, is what we call the antiarchegonia, while number 2, the male sperm, is called antheridia. Number 3 there is called the rhizoids. Okay? Now what you see here, let's use it to answer the question. Number 7, in fern, the structure above is equivalent to. Now, be informed that anywhere you have antheridia and archegonia, or male and female gametes on the plant, it is called gametophyte generation because those are the gametes that produce the gametes. Fern plants have this thing they call the gametophyte generation that produce gametes, and they have what is called the sporophyte generation. The same thing applies also in moss plants. Now let's look at what is similar here. Let's look at number 7. In fern plant, the structure above is equivalent to A, gametophyte generation of a moss, B, sporophyte generation of a moss, C, sporangium of a moss, D, zygote of a moss. The correct answer is A, the gametophyte generation of a moss. Now, this diagram you see here is called the prothallus of a fern. That is the gametophyte generation of fern plant. But most plants also have something like this. Their own is called protonema by name, but this one is called prothallus. Both of them have this male sperm called the antheridia number 2, and then the female egg called the archegonia number 1, while number 3 is called the rhizoid. Number 8, the antheridia or the male organ, and then the rhizoids. Let's look at the option. A, sporophyte and sori. Number 8. B, annulus and stalk or sporangium. C, female organ and rhizoid. D, male organ and rhizoid. The correct answer, of course, is the male organs and rhizoid. Take note, the male organs are down while the female organs are on top. The males are carrying the females. Let's go to number 9. The most monocots are easily recognized by their A, long sword-like leaves, B, long and palm-like leaves, C, short leaves with petiole, D, short leaves with many veinlets. The correct answer is long and sword-like leaves. That's the answer to that particular question, option A. Because if you think of grass, if you think of maize, the reason why they have these long and sword-like leaves is because pig grass, you see, they have what's called parallel veination. That's why that is part of the answer. Number 10, amphibians are normally found in A, water, B, on moist land, C, in water and moist land, D, on dry land and in water. The correct answer to this simple question is that amphibians are found on dry land and in water, not option C, in water and moist land. The land have to be on dry land and in water, which is what makes them amphibian. That's where you find the toads, okay? Let's move on to question number 11. Question number 11. The jointed structure in insects that bears organs which are sensitive to touch, smell, and vibration is A. Antenna, B. Abdomen, C. Maxilla, D. Labium. Please, C and D are mouth parts that are used for biting and chewing. Abdomen is majorly for food storage in insect. The antenna is the organ of smell and vibration in insect. That's why you see cockroaches have their antenna very long to detect smell and vibration. It's a feature meant for survival in its environment. Number 12. The vein of the leaf are formed from A. Spongy mesophyll, B. Palisade tissue, C. Cambium, D. Vascular bundle. The correct answer is the vascular bundle because vascular bundle contains xylem, which is supporting tissue, and also a conducting tissue. It also has a phloem, which is also a conducting tissue, and cambium that actually forms more xylem and phloem and also allow for what is called secondary thickening. That's why vascular bundle is the correct answer that forms the vein. You find vascular bundle from the midrib of the leaf. If you look at my video on internal structure, the diagram of the leaf structure, where you see the vein also branching from the midrib, telling you that the xylem goes into that structure. That's why the answer is option number D. It can be cambium directly alone because cambium forms xylem and phloem. It can be palisade tissue because palisade tissues are found in the leaf specifically and meant to contain chloroplasts. It can be spongy mesophyll because those are tissues that also contain air spaces that allow oxygen to enter the plant. Number 13. If you look at number 13, let me zoom it. When specimen X is mixed with drops of iodine solution, the appearance of a blue-black color confirms X is A. Sucrose, B. Glucose, C. Starch, D. Galactose. The correct answer, of course, is definitely starch. So it's starch that contains carbohydrate that turns blue-black. That is the answer to that question. Number 14. The enzyme invertase will hydrolyze sucrose to give what? Invertase glucose and fructose. Look at the option. It's not A. Definitely it is B. Glucose and fructose is the answer. It can be maltose and glucose because maltose is a disaccharide. It can be glycerol at all because that's connected with fat. So that's why the answer is number B. Number 15. Salt and water are absorbed in the root and transported to the leaves by A. Osmosis through the phloem tissue. B. Diffusion through the phloem tissue. C. Osmosis through the xylem tissue. D. Diffusion through the xylem tissue. Please be informed that phloem has nothing to do with salt and water. So the option containing phloem will be off the options. Let's focus on C and D. Since we are dealing with water and roots and then transportation to the leaves, the major answer is going to be option C. The answer now is osmosis through the xylem tissue, not diffusion, because we are dealing with water here and roots and also the leaves. So the more correct answer is osmosis through the xylem tissue, okay? Then number 16. The transportation of oxygen and carbon dioxide in mammals is carried out by A. Phagocyte, B. Leukocyte, C. Erythrocyte, D. Thrombocyte. The answer definitely is erythrocyte, another name for red blood cell. Red blood cells are the ones that bind with oxygen and carbon dioxide and transport it to all parts of the body using that iron pigment called hemoglobin. It can be leukocyte, which is another name for white blood cell. It can be phagocytes that engulf germs. It can be thrombocytes that are also called platelets that aid in blood clotting. The answer, of course, is C. Number 17. The gas produced during tissue respiration can be identified by using the options here. You have sodium hydroxide, calcium carbonate, copper sulfate. Definitely the answer is calcium hydroxide, which is called slake lime, used to test for CO2 release during respiration. Then number 18. When yeast respires anaerobically, which is called fermentation, it converts simple sugars to carbon dioxide and what? The answer definitely is that it's converted to alcohol. So look at the option. A, acid, B, water, C, oxygen, D, alcohol. The correct answer, of course, is alcohol, which is a product of fermentation that leads to the formation of alcohol due to anaerobic respiration. Then number 19, urea formation occurs in the where? The answer, of course, means that urea formation is as a result of deamination of excess amino acid. And where does deamination take place? Deamination takes place inside the liver, where excess amine group is removed from amino acid, leaving behind keto acid and urea. So this urea is formed and then sent to the kidney for excretion, while the keto acid is reconverted back to glycogen for storage in the liver. So if you look at this option of number 19, urea formation occurs mostly in the liver. That's why the answer is A. It can be B because it is in B, the kidney, that urea is excreted. It can be the heart because if urea is formed in the heart, then we are in trouble. Urea will be pumped from the heart to the brain, and that will result in serious problem. It can be in the lungs because in our breath we'll be perceiving the smell of urea. So the correct answer is A. Let's move on to number 20 with some interesting diagrams. Number 20, use the diagram below to answer question 20 and 21. You have number 1 in that diagram there. That diagram that you can see is a bone of the vertebra. Point number 1 there is the neural, a projecting bone. Number 2 is the neural canal. Number 3 is the transverse process. Number 4 there will be the centrum, a thick bone that forms a fibrocartilage with other vertebrae. And point number 5 there will be showing the vertebral canal, which is the passage of blood vessels. So this is one of the 5 cervical vertebrae found in the neck of mammal. Now, the other special cervical vertebra that is under the skull is called the axis. That is, atlas, that is used for nodding. It has a facet for nodding movement to the skull. And then under it, you have what is called, under the atlas, you have what is called the axis. That is for rotation of the neck, that has a special structure called the odontoid process. What they've drawn here is the cervical vertebra. And let's look at this to answer the question. The structure above, number 20, represents a thoracic vertebra, cervical vertebra B, caudal vertebra C, lumbar vertebra D. The correct answer is B, cervical vertebra. And take note that these cervical vertebra, they are found in the neck. That is why B is the correct answer. It can be thoracic because thoracic is in the chest. There are 12 in humans. Caudal, it can be caudal, that's found in the tail, which is about 4 of them. And then it can be lumbar in humans, which is up to also 5. So this is why the answer is correctly option B, cervical vertebra. Then number 21, blood vessels usually pass through the structure labeled, from what I just explained earlier on. Which of them is labeled 5 in the option? The option labeled 5 is option D. That's why the answer to number 21 is D. D there is the vertebral canal, a passage for the blood vessels, and nerve fibers too, in case you see that in other questions. Sorry for the delay we had today. It was a major technical glitch. I want to apologize to all my friends and those of you that are watching this live session. It has to do with the fact that I put on the, I had to log on to the live session, but I didn't tap the go live button. I didn't tap it, and then I thought I was live, and I really spoke for over 1 hour. So this is a repeat session now. I'm really doing the live now again because I failed to tap the live button, and now I'm having a live session. I'm sure this was why one of my colleagues was calling me that they were not seeing me live, so I had to re-edit. I had to go back and apologize because of the technical challenge. But we are back online. We must achieve our goal so that those that want to learn this thing will learn it today, and we know that we are done with the revision of 2001 UTME question that we put online. So let's see how we can continue with number 22 and 23. We don't give up in Apex biology. We move on. When there's a challenge, we move on. Now, use the diagram below to answer question 22 and 23. We are moving. The diagram of the egg of internal structure of the egg of an amniote. The egg of an amniote. Now, if you look at your boiled egg, the biology behind your boiled egg, if you boil the egg of a hen at home, a chicken's egg, you'll notice that the outer part is number 1, called the shell in a boiled egg. When you break the egg, that you remove the shell, you have this thin layer, which is number 2. That number 2, if the label has shown it is a second layer, that's one they call double membrane. They didn't label the egg white. The egg white is called albumen. That's the one that contains protein. But number 3, you will not see it in a boiled egg. It's in a raw egg. When you break it, you see one tiny line going to attach to the yolk. That number 3 is called chalaza. It holds the yolk in position. Then number 4 is the germinal disc. That is where the embryo's position is. The round part that is bigger than that smaller one on number 4 is the yolk, which is yellow. So the yolk contains fats and oil and some water. Now let's go to the question. The part labeled 4 is what now? Among the options, look at 4. 4 definitely is option D, the germinal disc. It's not A, it's not B, and it's not C. That is what we want to take note of. Now let's go to number 23. The structure that holds the yolk in position is labeled number 3 there. And which one is number 3 in our diagram? Number 3 is option number C. So number 23 answer is number C. Then we go to number 24. A seedling grown in the dark is likely to be A, sturdy, stunted, dormant, etiolated. A sturdy seedling is hard. A seedling is a young plant that just germinated, okay? Like if you plant maize seed and it's just coming out of the soil after 3 days, that is a seedling, all right? If you move around town, people that are having a horticultural garden, they grow seedlings of young trees, okay? Now, when they say a seedling is grown in the dark, it means that there is no light. The option is that they said it will be sturdy. Will it be hard? No. Will it be stunted, which is, of course, very short? No. Will it be dormant? That means nothing happened. It doesn't even grow. No. Will it be etiolated? And what is etiolation? Etiolation is when you put, when the plant is growing in the dark, usually the stem will be getting longer. And then you notice that the roots are going to be reduced. And then the quantity of leaves will be reduced. When the quantity of leaves on the seedling is reduced and the roots are reducing while the stem is getting longer, biologists call that process etiolation, and usually happen in the dark. Don't confuse this with whenever you are growing plant and then maybe the leaves are turning yellow. The leaves will not turn yellow in this case. The leaves will not turn yellow because there might be elements. When the leaves are turning yellow, it means that there's lack of nitrogen in the soil or magnesium. You get it? So that is why the correct answer to this question is etiolated. That is number 24. Okay? Etiolated leaves, etiolated plants usually are plants that are grown in the dark, deprived of sunlight. Okay? Their stems are longer, the quantity of leaves are reduced, and of course their roots are shorter or reduced leaves. Okay? Reduced roots, sorry. That's why the answer to number 24 is D. Let's move on to number 25. Number 25 is the diagram of, very well, this is the diagram of the internal structure of the human ear. Let's look at the diagram very well. Number 1 is showing the auditory canal where sound wave passes through. Auditory canal number 1 there is also called auditory meatus. Number 2, closely they showing the bone of ossicles. There are 3 of them, the hammer, the anvil, and the stirrup there, which are also called the malleus incus and stapes. Then we have the number 3 there serving as the oval window, popularly called fenestra ovalis. And then number 4 is going to be the coiled cochlea. Number 5 will be the eustachian tube. And number 6 will be the bone in the skull. Okay? Let's look at the question. The part labeled 2, let's look at number 2. Definitely the option is C. That is the ear ossicle. That is the ear ossicle or bones of ossicle. That's the answer to number 25, option C. Okay? It can be A, can be B, can be D. Now let's look at number 26. The part which function together to bring about hearing are labeled. If you want to hear, it means that sound will pass through number 1. Let's look at the diagram. To hear, sound wave will pass through number 1, then it will strike number 2, the ossicle, then it will pass number 3, the oval window, then it will hit number 4, the cochlea. Let's look at 1, 2, 3, 4. Definitely will have nothing to do with 6. So if you look at number 26, if there's any option that is connected with VI or 6, that's off. So we're going to choose the answers. Is it 1, 2, 3? 1, 2, 3 is correct, but you did not involve 4, which is used for hearing. So A cannot be the answer. Let's look at B. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 from the diagram. That is the 1 is the auditory canal, 2 is the ossicle, 3 is the oval window, and 4 is the cochlea. The correct answer is option B. That is it. That is the parts that are connected with hearing. C and D are off because they have VI, which is eustachian tube. And eustachian tube has nothing to do with the particular structure we are talking about in hearing. Sorry for the pop-up message. It has to do with information. Number 27. The center for learning and memory in the human brain is A. Olfactory lobe, B. Cerebrum, C. Medulla oblongata, D. Cerebellum. Well, be informed that the part that is used for learning memory is the cerebrum. The option B is the correct answer, cerebrum. Cerebrum is for learning, memory, thinking, reasoning, creativity, language, voluntary action, your decision to either take part in this Zoom session, this live session or not is a functionality of your cerebrum. So the cerebrum is for learning and memory. That is why it is the answer. B. Olfactory lobe is for smell. It interprets impulse of smell. Medulla oblongata interprets impulse controlling involuntary actions like our heartbeat, dilation of the blood vessels, and even things connected with digestion, and also the process of the heartbeat, as I said. What about the cerebellum? Cerebellum is for controlling body posture, all right, and balance. So that's the function of the cerebellum. Do not confuse cerebellum with cerebrum. So the answer to number 27 is option B, okay? Number 28, the physical space occupied by an organism together with its functional role in the community can be described as what? The correct answer among this option, A is niche, B is environment, C is habitat, D is biome. Niche is the correct answer because niche is connected with the position of an organism in the food chain. The role occupied, the function performed by the organism in the food chain. That's why if you look at this question, focus on what is functional role there. Functional role is niche. Environment have to do with the surrounding of an organism. Habitat is where the organism normally live. Biome is a large biotic community occupying a geographical area like rainforest, like savanna, right? Like swamp forest. That is biome, right? That's why the niche is the correct answer. So in a food chain, if you have grass as producer, fed upon by goats as a primary consumer, then the goats fed upon by lion as a secondary consumer, the niche of the grass, the role of the grass, the functional position of the grass is to serve as a producer. But if you look at the goat being a herbivore is now playing a role as a primary consumer that eats the grass. The goat also now serve as a primary consumer. So the niche of the goat is to serve as a primary consumer. Okay? So understand niche as the position of an organism in the food chain. Then number 29. Let's go to the next page. Number 29. We're moving. Welcome again at Apex Biology. As I said, subscribe to my channel at Apex Biology so that I can learn biology with simplicity. Number 29, the hygrometer is used for measuring A, rainfall, B, relative humidity, C, salinity, D, specific gravity. The correct answer here is relative humidity. That is the function of hygrometer, H-Y-G-R-O, hygrometer. Hygrometer should not be confused with hydrometer. Hydrometer is used to measure water density. So the correct answer to number 29 is relative humidity, which is B. Rainfall, use rain gauge is for measuring rainfall. Of course, salinity of water can be observed by the taste, while specific gravity is something I'll find out from my professional colleagues, what is used to measure specific gravity. That's something I have to learn from my colleagues. Okay, let's move on. Number 30. The highest percentage of energy in an ecosystem occur at the level of the A, producers, B, primary consumer, C, secondary consumer, D, decomposer. The highest energy level in an ecosystem is with the producers. So the answer is A. Producers trap energy directly from the sun, so they store a lot of food. That's why if you study a pyramid, producers have the highest energy. They pass this energy to the primary consumers. and then the primary consumer will pass the energy to the secondary consumer. So as you move along the food chain, energy is being lost from producers to decomposers. So generally, the highest amount of energy will be among producers. That's why producers is the one that has the highest energy there, and that's why producer option A is the correct answer. Okay? Number 31, carbon dioxide content of the atmosphere is least affected by A, burning of fossil fuel, cutting down and clearing of forests, B, C, plant and animal respiration, D, forest fire. Well, the carbon dioxide content is least affected by, will burning of fossil fuel least affect carbon dioxide content? No, rather it will increase it. Okay, that is not going to be part of the answer. Cutting down and clearing of forest trees. Let's compare it with plant and animal respiration. Well, cutting down trees and clearing forest trees, clearing of forest will least affect it, because plant and animal respiration will increase CO2 content. Forest fire will increase the CO2 content. So the correct option is B. Cutting down and clearing forests, clearing of forests will least affect carbon dioxide content in the air. So the correct answer to number 31 is B. Number 32. A freshwater pond may contain, freshwater have to do with aquatic habitats. And when we talk about freshwater, we are dealing with a type of aquatic habitats based on water that has little or no salt. Now, another type of aquatic habitat is marine habitat that has a lot of salt. That's where you have the oceans and the seas. We have estuarine, which is a mixture of freshwater and marine water under the influence of some waves and tides. But here, there's a freshwater. The freshwater now, they said, contain organisms. Let's look at the organisms. They said they give us A, pond skater, water lily, mosquito larvae. Sorry for the message you are seeing there. Water lily, fish, water scorpion, dragonfly, B. C, tadpole, water boatman, leeches and crab. D, water beetle, shrimps, water snails and water bug. It can be A, because we can't find shark in freshwater. That is out of the question. B is very close to the answer. C is questionable because crabs, though we find them in freshwater, but we find them more in marine. So we'll look at option B and D. But we don't have any organism called fish water scorpion. No. Fish water scorpion, don't have anything like that. So the option is likely to be option D, because there's not like fish water scorpion. We only have water scorpion. It could be a typographical error, but if you look at it, we can pick option D. Water beetle, shrimps, water snail, and water bug. That's where the likely answer is here. Option D is the correct answer there. Number 33. The epiphytic habitat can best be described as A, aquatic, terrestrial, arboreal, and estuarine. If you don't know what epiphyte is, you can't answer number 33. Epiphytes are plants that grow on other plants for support. And habitats that are on trees are called arboreal. So a plant that grows on another plant like a tree is arboreal. That's why the correct answer to number 33 is C. Epiphytes are found on trees. They are plants that grow on other plants for support on trees. That's why the answer is arboreal. Number 34. The distribution of plants in a rainforest is governed definitely in a rainforest. The plant distribution is governed mainly by A, rainfall, vegetation, soil type, amount of sunlight. The correct answer is rainfall. Rainfall determines the vegetation in a rainforest, not sunlight. It has not to do with the soil type, whether it is sandy or clay or loamy. It is connected with rainfall. Rainfall determines how the plants will grow. Number 35 is a little bit of calculation. Let's look at it closely. The number of plant species obtained from a population study of a garden is as follows. Guinea grass 15, Ipoemia 5, Cedar 7, Imperata 23. What is the percentage occurrence of Imperata species? This is a question connected with frequency. What is the percentage frequency of Imperata? It means that we have to look at the total number of Imperata, or the population of Imperata divided by the total number of plant species times 100%. Using my biro here, that means that we will have 15 guinea grass plus 5 Ipoema gives 20. Then 7 cedar plus 23 Imperata gives 30. So let's total the species now. 15 plus 5, 20. 20 plus the 7 is 27. 27 plus 23 gives you 50. So total species is 50. Then let's look at the proliferation of Imperata. Imperata is 23. So that means that we're going to do it like this. Percentage frequency or percentage occurrence of Imperata will be 23 of Imperata all over 50 times 100%. So 50 divided by 100, that gives you 2. 2 times 23 gives you 46. So the answer to number 45 is 46%. That's the answer. Very easy. Number 36. The greatest influence on a stable ecosystem in nature is exerted. That word should be exerted. It's exerted by rainfall, animal, man, pollution. It is man that exerts the greatest influence on stability of an ecosystem, because man can cause pollution. Man can cause damage to the ecosystem. Rainfall doesn't exert the greatest influence, because if you look at some habitat, forest fire have exerted influence. Wildfires have exerted influence. But man can wipe off an environment through his own activity, either by mining or overexploitation of mineral resources. Man can damage the ecosystem. Man can even damage water supply through their activities. We've had cases of pollution due to overexploitation or breakage of oil pipeline that has resulted in pollution of the environment, causing oil spills. So man is the answer to number 36. Option C is the correct answer. Number 37, the factor that least affect food shortage in sub-Saharan Africa is A, drought, flooding, C, pest, D, mixed farming. Let me zoom in. The answer, if you look at A, B, and C, they are factors that mostly affect food shortage. The one that least definitely will mixed cropping. When you do mixed cropping, you're even encouraging food supply. So that is the answer. Option D, least affect food cropping. Remember, we're at Apex Biology. We are on number 38. Thank you for joining this session, and we continue to learn with simplicity. Now, number 38, in man, the ability to roll the tongue is a variation classified as A, structural, morphological, anatomical, physiological. Well, in genetics, there are two branches, variation and heredity. Variation of two types, that is differences between organisms. It can be morphological, where it manifests in physical appearance. It can be physiological, where it manifests in function. The morphological variation that manifests physically can be skin color. Let's say you pick 15-year-old students or boys or persons of 15 years old. You can see them of different shades of skin color. That is morphological. But when you talk about physiological variation, there are variation or different groups under the ABO system. Either you are blood group A or B or AB or O. You can't jump between the range. You can either, under the resource factor system, you can be resource positive or negative. Under the sickle cell genotype, you can be AA or AS or SS. All these are physiological variation. Again, ability to taste some substances like PTC, phenylthiocarbamide. You are either a taster or non-taster. You can't be in between. And then ability to roll tongue. You are either a tongue roller or not a tongue roller. There's nothing like I'm trying to roll my tongue. No. So when you look at this answer now, number 38, in man, the ability to roll tongue is a variation classified as option D, physiological. That is the answer. Then number 39, which of the following statements is true of blood groups and blood transfusion? Well, to sort out this simple one, we have 4 major blood group types under the ABO system: blood group A, blood group B, blood group AB, and blood group O. Be informed that blood group AB is called a universal recipient because it does not have antibodies. Now, blood group O is called a universal donor because it do not have antigens. Now, having this principle at the back of the mind, let's look at the statement that is true here. A, under number 39, blood group A can donate to group A only. That is false because group A can donate to blood group AB too. Then option B, group B can donate to group B only. No, that is false because group B can also donate to AB. All right. Then C, group O is a universal recipient. That is false. Rather, group O is a universal donor. Okay. Then the correct statement there will be option D. Group B is a universal recipient because, as I told you, it is the only blood group that does not have antibodies in its plasma. That is why blood group AB is the correct answer. That's the truthful statement. We're moving to number 40. Number 40 is kind of genetic cross. Let's read it carefully. A tall plant crossed with a dwarf one produces offspring of which half are tall and half are dwarf. Half are tall and half are dwarf. What are the genotypes of the parents? Now, it means that a tall plant that is crossed with a dwarf plant, where half are tall and half are dwarf, what are the genotypes of the parents? It means that you are going to do the genotype cross with we are going to do what is called a test cross. And a test cross means that you have to get the tall plant, which genotype will be big T, small t, all right? And then the dwarf plant, which will be small t, right? They now said you have to cross the genotype of the big T, small t with the genotypes of the small t, then you get the parents. So the likely genotype of the parents will be big T, small t, small t. So the answer is A. In our videos that will be doing our genetic crosses, we'll try to explain this for simplicity. The answer is A, after you carry out a test cross with the homozygous recessive trait of small t. So the answer is A. Number 40. Both recessive and dominant characters are found A, at the same locus of a homozygous chromosome, B, at different loci of homozygous chromosome, on different chromosome in a cell, on the same chromatid in a chromosome. No. You can't even think of C and D. Now, since the characters are in pairs, recessive and dominant characters will be found on the same locus. Locus is the position of the gene on chromosome. Since Mendel experiments say that the characters are controlled by factors in pairs or genes in pairs, the correct option will be A because the genes are at the same locus on a homologous chromosome. That's why the correct option is A. Which of the following is likely to encourage inbreeding in plants? A, monoecious plants, monoecious, B, dioecious, C, hermaphrodite, D, protandrous. Definitely monoecious plants are plants that have both male and female flowers on a single plant. While dioecious are plants that have male and female flowers on a different plant. So when you look at what we are dealing with here, You will notice that the monoecious plant that has both male and female flower on a single plant is the one that can actually carry out inbreeding. Okay? That's the one that will carry out inbreeding. So that is why the answer is monoecious. An example of monoecious plant is maize. Maize, it has male and female flower on a single plant. Dioecious is something like pawpaw that has male and female flower on a different plant. Okay? So let's move on. Number 43. The probability of a baby being a boy or a girl depend on the contribution of A. Father's sex cell, father's somatic cells, mother's X chromosome, father's X cell, father's somatic chromosome. The correct answer is going to be father's chromosome because the father has XY chromosome. Okay? Father has XY chromosome. Welcome at Apex Biology. We are continuing to learn, and as I said, it's a live session. Please bear with us because for now, as I said, we are able to use this opportunity to tell us the various challenges we had. If I had the opportunity to put this on what I call on my laptop, I would have been able to put the app, whether they call it OSD or Be Live app. I'm yet to learn that. It's an ongoing learning process. That's why I'm just talking about this here. So, but let us learn. Let us learn with natural ways so that we can get what we are dealing with here. We are now on question number, I'm using my screen of my phone. Please bear with me. Number 42, right? Number 43. Let's go to number 43. It says, the probability, okay, we have answered that. The ability of an organism to live successfully in an environment is A, succession, B, resistance, C, adaptation, D, competition. The correct answer is definitely adaptation. Let me wear my glasses because it's a live session. The correct answer definitely is adaptation. Ability to develop structures for survival in an environment is called adaptation. That's why the correct answer there is adaptation. Okay? And let's move on to number 40. Number 45. Okay? Let me zoom it. Question number 45. It says, for heterotrophic organisms, competition is least caused by inadequacy of A, nutrients, B, light, C, space, D, mate. A heterotrophic organism will depend on other organisms for food. No, because they have enough nutrients. That is something that will least affect it. Light, yes, because they don't need sunlight. Space, they can struggle for space. Mate, they can struggle for space. So light is more of a factor that affects organisms that are actually affected by mostly plants. So that's why the answer is B, okay? Number 46. The most important adaptation of xerophytes is the ability of the protoplasm to absorb water and swell. No. To resist being damaged by loss of water. That's likely the answer. C, shrink from the cell wall. D, store sugar and minerals. No. Xerophytes are plants that grow in deserts or places that water is scarce. Xerophytes like cactus. So their challenge will be they have ability to resist being damaged by loss of water. That's the answer to number 46 there. Number 47. The stem of a typical aquatic plant usually has many A, water cavities, water conducting cells, air cavities, intercellular spaces. Aquatic plants like water lettuce, duckweed, They will have air spaces. So what is related to air spaces here? The answer is going to be C, because air spaces are also called air cavities. So the answer for number 47 is C. Not intercellular air spaces, because intercellular air spaces will be found mostly in the palisade and spongy mesophyll of plant leaf. That one is just for gaseous exchange. So the correct answer definitely here is going to be the air cavities. Number 48, we have two questions to go. A green snake in green grass is able to escape notice from predators because of A, warning coloration, disruptive coloration, B, cryptic coloration, C, countershading. Well, if you don't understand adaptation, that can be a challenge. Now, adaptation, as I said, can be structural, where animals have features to escape or survive in an environment. It can be behavioral. It can be use of colors. Now, there are different types of ways animals survive. Let me explain this. Warning coloration, animals use bright colors to warn the predators. So the colors are so bright. Imagine a frog that has stripes of red, green, and yellow. That would be offensive to a snake. So that's a warning color. Then disruptive coloration is when animals have colors that are totally different from the background. This disruptive coloration, you find that common in animals like the zebras. The stripes on their body is totally different from the background in a savanna landscape. So if a carnivore like a lion wants to attack them, they are very careful. You also observe again that when you observe, that is disruptive coloration. There's what is called countershading. Countershading, the color is more in aquatic. Take, for example, you look at a toad. If the toad is in water, or frog, the under surface or the ventral surface under is white in color. If an animal is underwater and want to feed on it, the white ventral surface of the frog blend with the sky. So the light in the sky blend with the white ventral surface. So that predator will not be able to see the frog. But again, if that predator is from the sky, like a kite, the dark dorsal surface of the frog will blend with the background of the water. So that's called countershading. It's a method animals use to escape. Then there's what was called cryptic coloration. Cryptic coloration is also connected with concealing coloration. The color conceals, like a grasshopper that is green inside green grass, a snake that is green inside green grass, is concealing. That is what we call cryptic coloration. Then there's what is also called mimicry. Animal taking up the appearance of another, like stick insect. All right? Some animals look like sticks. Some animals look like twigs. Some animals look like leaf in order to escape being eaten by others. It's called mimicry. There's even this branch of mimicry that you also know, that mimicry can either be mimicry where an animal look like another animal that the predator will not like. We're going to give you lessons on that type of mimicry, which is called the Mullerian mimicry. There is what is also called the Batesian mimicry, where an animal will take up the distasteful appearance of another. Okay? Will look like an animal that is distasteful to another. So these are called mimicry. So, but from this question number 48, it's very clear here that the answer will be cryptic coloration. A green snake in green grass is a cryptic coloration, which is also called concealing coloration. Okay? Then remember, there's camouflaging. There are animals that do camouflaging, like the chameleon. In their own case, they produce pigment from their skin. This pigment they produce come from special cells in their skin called chromatophores. Okay? That was not mentioned here, just in case those type of things come up in another question. So the answer to number 48 is C, cryptic coloration. Number 49, just want to go. The role of the male adult honeybee is A, mate the queen, care for the young, clean the hives, ventilate the hive. The correct answer is to mate the queen. If you don't understand social insects, you will not understand this question, because in the hive of the bee, there is the queen, which is a female. There is the drone. The drone is a fertile male. Then there is the worker. The worker are sterile females. Now be informed that the workers, their job is to care for the young, clean the hives, ventilate the hive, which is what B, C, and D is talking about. The drone, which are the males, their job is to mate the queen and fertilize her egg. Now, when the drones are many and food supply is less inside the hive, what usually happens is that the workers will sting the drone to death, just to reduce the population of the drones. So be informed that the answer to this question is A. The role of the male adult honeybee, which is the drone, is to mate the queen. Okay. Now let's take our last question for this session today. Our last question will be number 50, and let me zoom it up. It says here, Darwin is considered the first scientist who correctly explained the theory of what? A. Organic evolution, use and disuse, special creation, spontaneous generation. The answer, of course, is organic evolution. It was one that brought out that theory that is so controversial globally that time, that is called theory of survival of fittest based on natural selection. So his name is Charles Darwin. Theory of use and disuse of organ was introduced by Jean-Baptiste Lamarck. All right. That is what he did. But the correct answer to number 50 is A. Okay. So thank you for this session with us. Please feel free to send your question in my chat. I decided to remove the chat so that people will not, calls will not be coming in. In my subsequent revision sessions, I'm going to learn how to install the app on my desktop so that we can have interaction. Somebody can monitor the chat, and then we can put this question on screen and revise it together. I believe with this session we had today, despite the technical issues we've been able to learn at Apex Biology, it's a pleasure learning from you today, and I'm happy that we use this 1 hour session to really interact. Please continue to subscribe at my channel, and I'm going to send this link to on my channel and on my Facebook channel to my friends and others on the network, so that they get to know this, so that we can continue to support and learn together with fun. Thank you for learning with me. Thank you for listening. And I want to appreciate our professional colleagues for this session that will use this 1 hour to learn a lot about the different ways you can answer past questions. We also want to thank the privilege we had to reference the UTME past question of 2001. Very important question with some interesting drawings. We've seen the cervical vertebra. We've seen the internal structure of the egg of amniotes, that is the egg. We've seen the diagram of the mammalian ear. We've also seen some interesting drawings of the protalus of a fen, which was compared with the gametophytes. And of course, so many contents in biology was done here. So feel free to send your question to my chat on YouTube. I will try as much as possible to answer. My colleagues in biology, I want to appreciate you for all your support, and my friends. And may we continue to do this together so that we continue to learn with fun, with simplicity at O-level biology, and other ways we can support each other to assist our learners. Thank you so much for learning. But remember, additional videos are available on my channel, so remember to hit that subscribe button at Apex Biology so that we can learn together. Have a great day, and thank you for watching. Remember, like and share at Apex Biology. Have a great day. Bye for now. Thank you for listening, and bye.